Tonight, the first head-to-head debate between President Trump and his Democratic challenger, Joe Biden. You saw it right here. It wrapped up just a few minutes ago in Cleveland. Contentious from the start, the candidates carried out a war of words, and there are questions now about just how effective this debate was for either candidate. It turned out both men trying to talk over each other. Tamon Bradley has more from Cleveland.
How you doing, man?
A gentlemanly start, moments before a street fight. President Trump and former Vice President Biden at each other's throats for 90 minutes. A fired-up President Trump repeatedly interrupted the former Vice President and lobbed insults.
There's nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years you've done nothing.
At times, Biden showed he was annoyed.
You picked
Be a surprise.
the wrong guy, the wrong night at the wrong time.
Listen,
Folks, do you have any idea what this clown's doing?
On the coronavirus, the rivals debated the country's response.
Is what it is because you are who you are.
If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000.
A question about President Trump nominating Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court quickly turned into a fight about health care. President Trump accused Biden of wanting to kick people off of their private insurance, while Biden warned the conservative-leaning Supreme Court will end Obamacare.
Your party wants to go socialist medicine.
My party is
and
me.
Socialist
right
healthcare.
now, I am
and
the
they're going to dominate
Party.
you.
Moderator Chris Wallace asked President Trump about the New York Times report that he only paid $750 a year in federal income taxes in 2016 and 2017.
Chris, let me just tell you something, that it was the tax laws. I don't want to pay tax. Before I came here, I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is. He passed a tax bill that gave us all these privileges for depreciation and for tax credits.
Well, and that is the way it went. That was Tamon Bradley reporting. Let's take a closer look now at this debate. WFXR's political analyst, Dr. Karen Hult of Virginia Tech, joins me now. Dr. Hult, good to have you.
Good to be here. That was quite a debate, wasn't it?
It was. I have to admit, for me, it was difficult to watch. I was able to catch a lot of it while helping to put this newscast together as well. So much talking over each other, very bitter right from the start. Were you as surprised as I was how this thing got ugly quickly?
I was only surprised that it not only got ugly quickly, but that persisted throughout almost the entire 90 minutes. Yeah, it was much like in the old days, babysitting a couple of children that couldn't quite settle down and agree on what they were fighting about. It was really difficult to watch from that standpoint. I agree with you.
Now, on the president's side, his supporters, they like when he's aggressive. They like some of the name calling. There was a lot of that tonight. Did he maybe go a little bit too far? Even the moderator at one point raising his voice and apologizing, please stop interrupting. At the same time, did Biden do enough to counter those attacks? At times he kind of let them go and seemed to be just ignoring them.
I think Biden was put in a difficult position because of that, because if you interrupt too much, then you seem as though you're attacking the President of the United States. Laying back as he did, that seemed then that you're not quite as combative as you need to be. Having said that, though, I think both of them were caught in the back and forth and talking over each other. Now, to your other question, I don't think in terms of changing people's minds, this debate would have gone one way or the other in any case. Most of us have made up our mind, according to the polls. What this debate could have done, and this particular way of acting on both of the men's part, is that it could make some people mobilized, fired up, ready to work even harder to go and vote. It could have turned off other people in ways that will keep them less likely to vote, less likely to be involved. And I think Mr. Trump may have something to worry about that. In particular, women we know tend not to like that approach as much as some men do in terms of reaction. And he's facing a very serious gender gap, we think, right now in the polls. So to that extent, it may not have helped him very much.
Yeah, and we'll see if the polling turns out to be accurate on that. Oftentimes after a debate, there are these moments that get celebrated, they get referred to a lot. Sometimes it's a zinger. Sometimes it's just a very eloquent point being made. Any quips or phrases that carried a lot of weight in your mind tonight?
I wouldn't use eloquent to describe anything that we heard, I don't think. I thought that the Putin's puppy phrase was one that I'm sure was rehearsed quite a lot. I thought that what Mr. Trump was trying to do to Mr. Biden on various occasions, talking about his reactions, his lack of reaction, I think that's the kind of thing that will come out with the sound bites. But I don't think there's very much that's going to last very long, at least from what I heard.
I would have to agree with you on that, and I would wonder myself tonight if the people who are really interested in hearing policy differences, if they got turned off by this maybe and are thinking, if this is the way these debates are going to go, I'm not going to be watching.
I think that's true. We tend to find out with these debates is that the first debate like this one gets the highest audience in any case. But it could well dissuade people from watching future debates if they're not going to find out anything more in substance from either man in terms of their policy positions. I think that's exactly right.
And I'll tell you, the moderator had quite a task tonight. Karen Holt, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate your insight.